It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk taxes. And I'm going to tell you, if taxes are part of your everyday life, which they are to 90% of the people, and you're getting love letters or haven't filed your return or you have a balance due, and we're going to talk about that today. If you're somebody that's a senior and you've been wondering about what to do with long-term care, nursing home, should you buy nursing home insurance, should you gift over your property, I think you're going to find out that we have something very interesting to put into your thinking cap today. So I'm Esther Gulius from EG Tax. I'm joined in studio with Tiffany Fabian.
Hey there, Esther. How are you doing?
I'm good. And Christopher Fabian.
Hello, Esther.
Hello, Christopher. I can't see you on the other side of the things, but there you are. Our phone number here in studio is 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Everybody always says that the callers and the things that they ask, they are glued on their way to church. They pull in the church parking lot until 4 o'clock, then run right in because your questions are so interesting. 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And Chris, what's happening at the office? Anything in particular unusual?
Well, you know, you hear us all the time talk about the letters from New York State and how they're delaying giving people's refunds. Well,
yeah, and here it is. Here you figure April, May, June, July. This is now August, right? And they're still haven't issued refunds on some of those things.
Yep.
Okay.
So, you know, especially with amended returns, they're doing this saying that the extra forms aren't attached. Well, we did 3 years worth of amended returns for one particular couple. And 2011, which was filed on time, they said the Empire Child Credit form wasn't attached. 2012, we need proof of the W-2s. 2013, the Empire Child Tax Credit form wasn't attached. So we called New York State and
waited how long to talk to them?
Actually, New York State's not
bad.
bad.
Yeah,
about
not
1 minute.
Yeah, right.
It's the federal that it's 2 hours.
Right.
But the lady on the phone, you know, she goes, oh, well, yep, we don't have the 213. It wasn't mailed with the amended return. And I said, ma'am, I don't want to sound very frustrated with you, and I'm sorry, but New York is having a major problem because how many people out there filed amended returns where they said these credit forms weren't attached to the return when we all know they were? This is getting really absurd, very frustrating for the clients. And she goes, hold on a second, puts me on a hold. 5 minutes later, she comes back and she goes, oh, you know what? It wasn't amended for the child tax credit, so we're just going to use the old one that came in with the original return.
If nothing changed.
And since nothing changed, so they're going to be fine for 11 and 13. So
but of course, the point is people send in amended returns, send in regular returns, get rejection letters, and they don't know what to do.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's right.
And, you know, and hate to say it, it makes us look bad in front of our clients, but it's not us. It's New York State doing their usual.
Or the federal.
Right. And, you know, so now we know.
So the bottom line is don't give up, because that's really what they're hoping you're going to do, that you're going to get frustrated and just give up the ship, walk away, and let them keep your money.
Yeah.
Right?
And then not to mention 2 weeks from next Saturday, extension deadline is 2 months away. And so
October 15th.
Right. Used to be August 15th.
Right.
Now it's,
so start thinking about the 2 month away.
And then speaking of fall, which is upon us in a few weeks, people are going to go back to school.
Right.
And with school comes?
We have our tax school, which starts in
October,
which is a great opportunity to learn taxers from A to Z. I know Chris and I personally teach one of the classes, and it's a great experience. You learn taxes. 5 locations and online are an option to you. And afterwards, we do it because we hope you become our employee.
Right.
it's
So if you're somebody, we have lots of retired teachers, IRS agents. If you're somebody that's just is a young retiree and thinking about a career change, the wonderful world of taxation will certainly keep your brain in the know. You know, they say that there's all those brain teaser kind of games that you should get. Well, when you come to tax school, it'll keep your brain sharp.
It's so true. You know, I've been doing taxes for 15 years, and I can't tell you the nuances. You learn something new every day, and everybody's tax situation is unique, and so it's a great experience.
Okay, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. And we were talking about New York State. You were talking to them, and they gave you a little insight on something, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah, New York State, you hear us talk about nursing homes and all that, and, if you're private pay and you get the 6% back from New York State.
For the bed tax.
For the bed tax, but had another client, wait, they needed proof. Again, for the third time for that same year. So again, delaying giving people money.
Right.
Well, talking to the person while we're waiting for New York State, all of a sudden, she goes, why is the nursing home charging me more than what New York State's giving me? And I said, what? They go, yeah, we're going to charge you more just in case our tax rate goes up. I said, well, that's impossible. They can't do that. It's not allowed by law. So we're researching the bed tax and all that, and it turns out it's not a New York State sales tax. It goes back to Medicaid. It's a Medicaid tax that the states charge to private pay nursing home patients.
Which you get back if you're private pay.
Which you get back. But the reason you get it back is they charge it because the federal, if you charge it, will fund the Medicaid by that amount for that person.
But the refundable portion is the 6%.
Is the 6%.
And what form do we use, Tiff, to get that back?
Is it the
258?
258.
Yeah, the NY 258.
NY 258.
But when we were talking about that, it was interesting because Chris and I were talking about how some nursing homes are charging 7%, but it's supposed to be 6%, and you get the 6% back. I did a research, and we're going to talk about on the other side, and I know we have calls holding, but just for your consideration, especially those of you that are doing planning and you're at the age where you say, gee, should we give away our house? Are we going to end up being private pay patients? Can we get into a nursing home? Check on the website on Genworth Financial, and you can do this yourself. Under Genworth, and the what you're going to Google is long-term care comparisons by state. Now, here's what Genworth Financial said. A nursing home, semi-private in New York State, on average, is
100?
Yeah, what?
$131,758.
This is on average per year, right?
Yep.
So then I thought, wow, that is a lot of money. So then I thought, well, I wonder how much it would be in Pennsylvania. It's $105,485. So you actually, by going down the pike here, 60 miles, save $27,000 a year. So then I thought, gee, I wonder about Ohio. Semi-private nursing home in Ohio, $76,650. So how about Michigan? $90,703.
Yep.
But the lowest in the country is Oklahoma. Texas is $51,100.
Right.
And Oklahoma was like $46,000 for semi-private room nursing home. And so I called my kids and I said, I'm going to tell you, if it gets to that place in time and I'm private pay, move me to Texas, because at $51,000 I would save my estate $81,000 a year.
Do you have to become a resident of Texas?
I called Texas because I
Right.
wanted to make sure that I knew what. So I called Texas and I said, I'd like to put my mother in a nursing home, and they said, oh well, maybe she's Medicaid, and I said no, because she's got some assets. She's going to be private pay. They said, well, that's great. It'll be actually and there's different the prices go down by the county that you're in too.
My
So the point here being is the reason New York State is like number 1 or number 2 in the United States is because it's Medicaid. Everybody turns into Medicaid patients after they gifted away the assets. And I'm thinking maybe it's not a bad idea if you're somebody that's thinking about retiring to maybe get into a state where you'd save $80,000 in long-term care and you don't have to worry about it.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, I'm going to take a break. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. What do you think about that? 8030930, 8030930, star 930 cell phone. We'll be back with Mark and Rob and John on the other side.
In the nation, they go by Guardian, Lifesaver, and Friend. At Nationwide Insurance, we just call them agents. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation that cares.
Nationwide is on your side.
I have an insurance agent who cares. That's why Bill Barber has been my agent for 15 years. For any insurance needs, call Bill. 688-2199.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Taxes can be a puzzle sometime, but Esther Gulius makes it understandable. This is attorney Dennis Kitchen. I've been a lawyer for over 35 years, and I consider it my duty to make the law understandable to my clients. Whether it's bankruptcy, estates, wills, litigation, family law, or real estate, my experience and training can guide you through the puzzling parts of the law and help you understand. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Find attorney Dennis Kitchen at kitchenlaw.com or call 631-5661.
This is attorney Dennis Kitchen. You know, even responsible people occasionally face serious financial difficulty. Bankruptcy laws were made to protect people in financial crisis and keep creditors from taking their income and property. I have met many people overwhelmed by debts, and together we have been able to find a solution. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For the full story on debt, bankruptcy, and its alternatives, go to kitchenlaw.com or call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 631-5661. There is no charge for an initial consultation.
What a nice song. All right, what's the name of this song?
Daniel.
Is it Elton?
Elton John.
Yeah, but it's
and
Daniel.
It's Daniel.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's
Yep.
Daniel. Yeah, all right. Okay, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on the cell phone. We were talking about the high cost of long-term care in New York State, about compared to other states. What do you think about that? Got a tax issue, financial question? Give us a call. Yeah.
I was thinking, I was doing a client's tax return on Monday, and he was a guy around 29 years old, and he qualified for Medicaid under the new Obamacare guidelines, and he got Medicaid for 2 years, and I was doing his 2014 return, and he made $29,000 because he finished his schooling and he's a physician assistant. And I says, oh my God, I go, you got to really go in and change your thing for 2015 because now
Your
he's
health
going to work at
insurance.
Roswell.
Right.
You don't qualify for Medicaid. He goes, well, what about last year in 2014 where I made almost $30,000? Should I have gone in and changed it? And I said, the truth is, if you qualified for Medicaid, you qualified for it for the whole year. And he's like, that sounds like a loophole. I said, you think?
Well, I had somebody that when he applied, he was at $15,000 income, so he got the Medicaid at the end of the year. He'd gotten a lump sum, and he was at $75 at the end of the year. And I thought, boy, this is terrible. That's why it was interesting. I was thinking this morning. I'm cleaning the house, you know, and I said to my husband, you know, the reason that why everything's so expensive is we have all of these handouts, right? This one gets a handout, this one gets a handout, and it looks like it's all free, but we're all paying for it. But we're all afraid to let it go because we're afraid that the prices won't come down. But wouldn't it be great if they just reset everything, got rid of all the handouts, and everybody got paid the correct wages, and all this stuff went away, and then they reduced the prices commensurately?
Yes.
Because it's like a slippery slope. Anyway,
did you enjoy watching the presidential debate?
I tell you, I didn't sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was tweeting talking about the financial guys.
Right.
I was tweeting Mr. Trump because it's refreshing to hear his frankness.
Right.
But he has to learn how to cover. He has to learn how to put some sugar on what he has to say,
Right.
or he would be an ineffective statesman.
Right.
As much as we need somebody that's not a politician. But
He's got to curtail it.
he's got to, or else he's a buffoon.
And then I was listening to Sandy Beach this week, and he's right. The moderators were almost like in a gotcha mode.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
It was. I wrote Megyn Kelly that I was ashamed for,
Yeah.
which I was embarrassed for her.
Right.
Is what I said. Hey, Mark, how you doing? This is Esther Gullius. How can we help you? Hello, Mark.
Hello, Esther.
Hey, what can we do for you?
I've been getting these phone calls. First of all, it's nice to talk to you. I've gotten some great advice from you over the years.
Thanks.
But I get these phone calls left on my answering machine
voicemail.
that the IRS is
After you.
You know, it's their last phone call, and I need to call them immediately. And I've kind of ignored them, but my wife has said something about them, and I said I don't think it's. I think it's a scam, but
make sure your wife listens to this. All right. Who wants to give them the good news?
Yeah, the IRS never calls you unless you're already in a relationship with an agent or something like that, but on very rare occasions. So it's a fraud. It's a fraud that's perpetuating. If they want to contact you, they'll mail out a certified letter, but it is a fraud. Somebody's trying to make
the
money.
IRS does systematic letters. The first letter that says you have to let us know, here's an assessment, you have 90 days to respond. Here's another letter, you have 60 days to respond. Here's another letter, if you don't do this bad things, you got 30 days to respond. And each one of these are certified letters you sign for. If that was the case, and then an agent were to have called you, that would be different. But if this is a brand new out of the chute thing, just like they're doing to everybody else, it's a recorded message with somebody with an accent, and you call back and they say it's the Internal Revenue Service, it's all a scam to get money out of you, Mark.
yeah, I haven't called them back, and I've kind of ignored them. That's why I don't answer my phone anymore. I just let the.
Well, believe me, it's not the IRS. It's somebody in some sweatshop in Dubai or something, or wherever. Okay?
All right. Yes, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Mark.
I know.
Enjoy his day.
I know somebody, we had like an 84-year-old lady who called him back, and they threatened her with the police. They're going to be there in 60 minutes. And she goes, "Oh, that's great. I just made some fresh Danishes, and I'm going to put on a pot of coffee for them when they get here."
I'll tell you, and it's very effective the way they're doing it now. Initially, the first group of they've really kind of metamorphosized. The first group of calls that they were doing was they were saying, if you don't pay us within a half hour, we're going to come pick up your husband at work and stuff like that. What they are now doing is they're just leaving all these voice messages, and people call them back, and then they answer the phone, Internal Revenue Service, and they know your phone number that they called, and so they have it so sophisticated now. They even know the pretend agent to talk to. It's just bizarre, and that's part of what we are at EG Tax. If you have questions during the week, you can email us through our website at egtax.com. Call us at 632-7886. We want to be there for you, because what a horrible thing to be there all alone.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we got Rob in South Cheektowaga. Hey, Rob, how can we help you?
Hi, Esther. Thanks for your show. You give so much good information. We really appreciate all you've done for us over the years.
Thank you.
My wife and I both have these life insurance policies we don't need anymore, so we're thinking of cashing them out, and if we do, I was wondering what kind of tax liability we can expect.
So that's a really good question, Rob. Life insurance policies, if they're paid upon death, it's not taxable. However, if you pull it out like you're thinking of, it's the gain that's taxable. So you need to know how much you originally paid for it and all of your growth throughout the year. And so the gain is what the taxable portion is.
And the easiest thing to do, see if you agree with me, Chris, is just to call the insurance company and say, hey, this is Rob from Cheektowaga. I'd like, my wife and I want to cash in our life insurance. How much is going to be non-taxable because it's just a return of your own money, and how much of it is going to be taxable? And they'll tell you before you pull it out.
Yep. That's
then call us when you know the taxable figure, and we'll tell you exactly how much to set aside or have them withhold before they distribute the check to you.
And that gain will go on a Schedule D, and it's
1099.
It's going to be a 1099.
Forgive me, I know that.
Yeah. So just give us a call, then we'll have them withhold at the site.
Is there any strategy or way to mitigate the tax liability on that gain?
No, I mean the gain. Much of it's not going to be taxable because in life insurance, really, you're just getting your own money back. It all depends on whether it's a whole life policy and there was an investment aspect, but probably there's not going to be a huge gain. How much are you looking at with you and your wife?
If I figured it right, it looks like the gain would have been from what we paid into the difference and what they're saying we could cash out for be like about $17,000.
Okay, so you're saying you're going to get a check for $17,000?
Yes.
Okay, and do you have any idea how much of it would have been appreciation versus insurance? You would have no idea because that's only they would know.
Well, what I did is I just took what we paid over the years and then I added that up and subtracted how much worth.
And so, how much was the gain based upon your
$17,250?
That's the gain.
Yes.
All right, but how much are you going to get out of the policy, the whole thing?
I don't understand. Oh, I'm sorry. $27,000.
All right,
between there's two policies, so 15 for my wife, 11 something for me.
I definitely ask them first, but there's nothing you can do if you're cashing it in. If you're cashing it in and the gain is the gain, that's what you're going to have to do. The only other thing you can do is on the other side of the ledger, if you can come up with some deductions, like for instance, if your wife doesn't have an IRA, if you haven't completely maximized your contribution to your 401k plan at work, you could offset the taxable portion by putting money into some type of traditional IRA or traditional 401k plan at work.
And I was wondering if Rob was over the age of 59 and a half.
No,
because it would be taxable in New York State too. So on the right hand, you're going to end up with some taxable income. But if you put it into a pension plan, IRA plan, if you guys qualify, that'll be a deduction on the left hand side. Yeah. Netting it out is what's going to be what's taxable.
What's the max that you can put into an IRA?
For you, $5,500. Well, are you over 50?
Yes.
$6,500.
Per person?
Per person, as long as you have the earned income to back it up.
And it all depends whether or not you're working, right, Rob?
No.
You're not working?
No.
Okay, so you have no wages at all?
I have a pension.
Okay, then you can't put money into an IRA. All you can put it into is to a and she isn't working, correct?
No, she's working.
Oh, she's working. All right, does she have a pension plan?
Well, she doesn't collect on it.
Okay, so she's not in the plan.
Yeah, she is.
She is.
She just doesn't.
Does your wife have a qualified plan to which is available to her at work?
Does she put part of her paycheck
into it? Does she have a 401k available?
Yes, she does.
All right.
He meant she doesn't draw from it.
And is your income collectively over like $110,000?
No.
Okay. So it sounds like you guys may be able to contribute fully to yours and partially to hers. And if you call us on Monday at 632-7886, we'll get all the particulars about how much she's putting in, how much you can put in. And so if you're able to put $13,000 into your IRA and you end up with $17,000 taxable, then only $4,000 is going to be subject to taxes.
Okay, and that's like a capital gains tax?
No, it's going to be ordinary income.
Ordinary income, okay.
And then right. I was thinking, Rob, you might want to take off, we're close to the year, you might want to take out yours this year and hers next year. Thanks.
Okay.
Oh, as far as the life insurance goes, right. But call us on Monday, 632-7886, and we'll be very, very happy to help you, okay?
Okay, thanks for your help.
I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady. We're going to take a short break for news. We'll see you on the other side. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone.
From the WBEN Newsroom, I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's the latest. A man is fighting for his life at ECMC after being shot in an apartment in Buffalo early this morning. Police have a suspect in custody. So far, they have not released any names. Well, it is official.
The Town of Hamburg Police Department is investigating an incident that allegedly occurred at the residence of NHL player Patrick Kane last weekend. At this time, we are gathering information and awaiting forensic testing results. We will have no further comment on this investigation at this time.
That's Hamburg Police Chief Gregory Wickett. Meanwhile, Patrick Kane's public appearance tonight at a local bar has been canceled. Bill Polian will be enshrined into NFL's Hall of Fame tonight. The 6-time NFL Executive of the Year was the architect of those great Bills teams in the 1990s. Michael Brown Sr. says he and the family are still in mourning 1 year after his son's death. Brown spoke this morning at a parade in Ferguson, Missouri to honor his son, who was shot and killed by a cop last August 9th. 20 New York State workers and volunteers are headed west to help fight wildfires. Governor Andrew Cuomo confirming this morning. The group of Department of Environmental Conservation employees and volunteers will fly to California, Oregon, and Washington State with other crews. Currently 73, partly cloudy outside of our Amherst studios. I'm Ryan Hedrick, News Radio 930 WBEN and WBEN.com. Follow us on Twitter at News Radio 930.
Wendt Propane and Oil, serving all of your propane and oil needs in Western New York for over 40 years. Mention the EG Tax Radio Show and receive special new customer pricing. Call Wentz today at 731-3015. That's 731-3015.
Hi, this is Esther, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Bill Barber. Bill's 40-plus years experience has saved me money on my premiums and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Bill will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Bill Barber.
For all your insurance needs, call the Bill Barber Agency at 688-2199. Call 688-2199 today.
Nationwide is on your side.
Hi, this is Esther, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Bill Barber. Bill's 40-plus years experience has saved me money on my premiums and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Bill will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Bill Barber.
For all your insurance needs, call the Bill Barber Agency at 688-2199. Call 688-2199 today.
Nationwide is on your side.
Fall is around the corner, and that means school. It also means taxes. EG Tax combined them both and is offering our tuition-free tax school, which could lead to full or part-time employment come January. 3 different locations to choose from, or you can even take the course from the comfort of your home. Call 632-7886 or go to egtax.com for more information. That's 632-7886. Looking forward to seeing you in school.
I'll tell you, this is the Beatles, right? Isn't this the Beatles? Is this the Beatles? Wings. Oh, speaking of wings, I could use some wings. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Love to hear what you have to say about the wonderful world of taxes. Now, something Chris brought up, which I thought was a really good point regarding the last caller. He could also
borrow. He could try to borrow the money from the life insurance. This way, it would be tax-free.
And it'd be not taxable when you take the tax out, and then he'd still have a portion of the life insurance still
correct.
In effect.
And then when the beneficiary
gets it,
it'll just be a lesser value, reduced value.
So that's another, borrowed money's never taxable. So that's a really good thing, unless he just wants to cash out of it completely. But there might be a feature of that would help.
I guess it's better him cash out of his own than his wife cash in his, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to John in Tonawanda. Hey, John. Hello, John.
Hey, Esther,
John.
Nice talking to
Are
you.
you there, John?
Yeah, he said nice talking to you.
I can't hear him.
He said nice talking to you.
Oh.
Nice talking to you, John. How can we help you?
Okay, can you hear me all right? I'm on a cell phone, really.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Good.
Okay.
All right, there we
go. I
go.
have a situation right now that I was scheduled for had my taxes taken care of back in January, but I had a back injury which prevented me from making the appointment, and it was during the heavy snowfall. And right now the back effect is affecting my knees and has given me a lot of trouble. So I haven't really scheduled an appointment to have my taxes done, and I even had my jury duty canceled because.
Okay, but John, just mail it to us. You don't have to come in. You can if you're electronic, you can scan it. You can mail it. We'll do it all over the phone, and you don't have to come in.
Well, normally I just go around the corner because it's right around the corner where I live over here in Tonawanda. But I don't have access to a computer.
No, just you can just take your information and put it in and mail it to us, and then have the postman drop it off, our wonderful postman, and we'll just call you. You leave your phone number, and we'll call and we'll interview you over the phone. This way, it's not an inconvenience for you.
Okay,
but
well, when I call
just
the
a
agent,
suggestion.
Pardon me?
But yeah, she said just a suggestion. But you started to say when you called, who did you call?
Oh, when I called the agent that was going to do my taxes, it's her agency, EG Tax. They're over in Delaware, and he said, "Well, as long as you don't owe anything, try to get it done before the end of the year." But he never made any recommendations.
No, I mean you're completely true. But you know what happens is day after day after day we get up and the Delaware office, by the way, is closed this time of year. So the only office that's open is our Niagara Falls Boulevard office. So if you just slip that into an envelope and mail it off to us, then we'll take care of it. Actually. What sources of income do you have, John?
It's a refund.
Well, I have 2 pensions and Social Security. I'm retired right now.
All right. So is there withholding on your pensions?
Yes.
All right, there is.
So why not get your refund sooner than later?
Right.
Do you usually get a refund, John?
Well, I've been having refunds for the last 10 years. They average about maybe $200-300.
Okay. Well, if you don't feel like getting out and your back is bothering, your knees are bothering, that's a suggestion. Or another thing you could do is you can call us at the office, give us your phone number, we'll call you back, and we can start it over the phone with you, and then we can have somebody stop over your house and pick up the records. That's what I was
thinking. I've done that before.
So whatever way will be best for you, but I will tell you, time will march on, then it's going to be snowing again. I hate to say it, but September is upon us. And, remember the October storm? I mean, the thought of all this makes me sick.
I didn't think I was going to be out of commission this long.
I know. Just trying to give you a suggestion.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Well,
all right, John.
They give me an okay on my back right now, so that's why I'm calling you. I said, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, I'll do
it. All
that.
right, love to help you, sir. Thank you.
Want me to just write a note and describe what's going on? Or
call the office, 632-7886, and what we'll do is we'll have somebody stop over your house and pick up your stuff from you so that you don't have to get it certified, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
I appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Time march, all of a sudden it's April, then it's May, then it's July, then it's October. Now it's snowing. Yeah. It's November,
Chris infamously tells this story of a client that he did like 7 or 8 years back return, and correct me where I go, and you only get the 3 years. That's the statute of limitations. And how much money did he lose out on?
He lost about $40,000.
And then that's another thing that they just came out with this week. Talk about the IRS and their regulations. They are now effective this year. They're saying that the statute of limitations is up to 6 years on businesses if there has been a substantial understatement of income or basis, and so of over 25%. So moving the statute from 3 to 6 years, it's like you just watch the power of the government get more and more and more. They're not helping you. They're not answering the phones. No. They won't give you any information. The letters they send you are incorrect. They're coming up with more regulations. They're extending the statute.
You summed that up
It's
so
remarkable.
Well.
It's just remarkable.
It frustrates me to the nth.
I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We want to talk to people that owe money, and you know who you are, and not owing money to anybody but the IRS or state of New York. The first thing is, I want you to ask yourself, is the money that you owe due to a tax return that you prepared yourself?
Is the letter, well, first of all, how about is the letter right?
No, but I just, if they owe money, just people that owe money, all right, and they know they owe money, did they prepare their own return? If they did, I would suggest you have it looked at by somebody else.
Correct.
Because with the complications of tax law, just to have somebody look at it, you may find out that you don't owe anything at all. I can think of somebody that I just helped in Florida not long ago. He had prepared his own return. He had a liability of like $1,000, but then he didn't pay it, and all the penalties were accruing, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So when I got involved, he owed about $3,500. When I took a look at it, he had put his self-employment income on line 21. The IRS then did a Schedule C and an SE, charged him self-employment taxes. When I did the Schedule C, he didn't have near the money that he thought he had, and not only did he not owe money, he actually ended up getting an earned income credit. So you just want to, if you owe money, have somebody look at it. It doesn't have to be us. Just have a tax professional look at it. And then the other thing, if you owe money, have you changed your withholding so you won't owe it next year?
Right.
That's a big thing, because you're not going to get out of the hole you're digging in if you don't change it.
That's right.
And not to mention, if you had children or you got married or you put more into your 401k, you might want to change it because of those life events.
Yeah, and then the thing is, do you owe every year?
Right.
So if you're not having enough withheld, you're not changing your withholding, you owe every year. I imagine that you're one of the favorite addresses down at the IRS. So then I think you have to ask yourself, are you living over your income? Obviously you are. Right? So you want to make sure that you get your taxes into your budget. And then the next thing is, can you pay the liability? It's unbelievable how many people, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, that owe money, that have the money in the bank to pay it.
Right.
And they just don't want to.
Bizarre. Because you get the penalties and you get the failure to file and the interest, and so run the numbers. It's what are you doing?
The bank is paying you 0.0025%. The IRS is assessing you 25% sometimes failure to file, 25% failure to pay, and interest on the whole kit and caboodle, and you say, I just don't want to pay it. I'm going to tell you something. The best thing you can do if you have the money to pay it is to get it paid sooner rather than later. Yep. Would you guys agree with that?
I would totally agree.
And then not to mention, if you don't even communicate with them and you don't go on a payment plan, they notify your credit agencies, and so
and ruin your credit.
It affects your
You'll
credit.
get the letter saying, hey, guess what? We're going to go in your bank account and take all your money.
Which they can do too.
Yep.
And then when your credit is ruined, then your credit card interest rates go from 0 to 5 to 25% that you're paying in interest on the credit cards. All right. Can you take money out of a savings account? Can you do a home equity credit line?
Can you do a loan on your 401k or your life insurance like we were talking
All right,
about?
but let's say you owe money and you absolutely can't pay it. Then what should you do?
Then then there's two things. First of all, depending on your income situation, it's possible we could get you deemed as uncollectible, meaning your income, you barely can live, and there's no way you can give the government any money. So for the next 10 years, they're going to check your income situation out to make sure it's the same. And if it is, then your debt is totally wiped out within those 10 years.
And in between, they basically just check with you once a year, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you give them a statement. I can't work. I'm on Social Security disability or whatever the problem is. I'm and at the end of 10 years, the debt is forgiven.
And the point is, though, you have to call and you have to put the wheels in motion and you have to start doing it. You can't just sit back and do nothing.
Yeah, because if you ignore them, they will not ignore you.
Correct.
I'm going to tell you, they don't ignore you. You have to let them know. The second thing somebody could do if they're not deemed uncollectible?
You could possibly do an offer and compromise, and that's when you hear those radio or TV commercials where you pay pennies on the dollar, and so an offer and compromise is a viable option. And that's another thing. They look at your assets. If you have a lot of assets or your assets
if you're able to pay, they're going to make you pay.
Right.
But if you're truly unable to pay, you can do an offer and compromise, and believe me, they will take substantial reduction in the liability,
Which
right?
is a great thing. These are tools that are out there for people, and so you should take advantage of them.
Okay, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'd love to hear what you have to say. When we break, we're going to take a short break, and on the other side, we're going to talk about other things that you can do to get rid of your tax liability with the IRS. If you're somebody that's struggling in that area, give us a call. Love to hear what your struggles are, so we can help you. Talk to you on the other side.
In the nation, they go by Guardian, Lifesaver, and Friend. At Nationwide Insurance, we just call them agents. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation that cares.
Nationwide is on your side.
I have an insurance agent who cares. That's why Bill Barber has been my agent for 15 years. For any insurance needs, call Bill. 688-2199.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio, subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Taxes can be a puzzle sometime, but Esther Gulius makes it understandable. This is attorney Dennis Kitchen. I've been a lawyer for over 35 years, and I consider it my duty to make the law understandable to my clients. Whether it's bankruptcy, estates, wills, litigation, family law, or real estate, my experience and training can guide you through the puzzling parts of the law and help you understand. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Find attorney Dennis Kitchen at kitchenlaw.com or call 631-5661.
This is attorney Dennis Kitchen. You know, even responsible people occasionally face serious financial difficulty. Bankruptcy laws were made to protect people in financial crisis and keep creditors from taking their income and property. I have met many people overwhelmed by debts, and together we have been able to find a solution. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For the full story on debt, bankruptcy, and its alternatives, go to kitchenlaw.com or call attorney Dennis Kitchen at 631-5661. There is no charge for an initial consultation.
Fall is around the corner, and that means school. It also means taxes. EG Tax combined them both and is offering our tuition-free tax school, which could lead to full or part-time employment come January. 3 different locations to choose from, or you can even take the course from the comfort of your home. Call 632-7886 or go to egtax.com for more information. That's 632-7886. Looking forward to seeing you in school.
Out on the street, Willie and the poor boys are playing Give Me a Nickel for Your Feet or something. What's the name of it, though? But what's the name of the song? Down on the corner. I know all the words. I just don't know the name of the song. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Probably on your way to church right now. We're talking about what you do if you owe money. Now, what do you do if you get a letter? And we're not talking about the bogus phone calls because they're not going to call you. Well, we're talking about letters that the state or the federal
The first thing is you think when you get a letter from the government that it's got to be right. But I got to tell you, after 15 years of doing this, 8 times out of 10, they're either partially wrong or completely wrong. So the first thing you should do is
bring the letter in and let us take a look at
it. Double check it. Mm-hmm. Double check it. And don't just pay it. Now, if you are somebody that has just gotten a letter and you have paid it, is it too late for you?
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's not too late, baby. It's too late. It's not too late at all. So bring in the letter, get it double checked. Now, if the adjustment is correct, then you have to pay it, right?
Correct.
And if you're able to pay it, then you should pay it.
And I want to say, if the federal sends you a letter and the adjustment is right, there's probably something you have to do on the state, too. So a lot of people forget that step. So you have to fix the state return, too.
That's right. And you should you should amend your state return if you agree with the letter, as soon as you are in agreement with the federal, send that adjustment into New York State and pay your liability now. Now, why would that be important?
Because there's freedom of information, and New York State will find out. Go on, Chris.
And about a year and a half later, you'll get a letter from New York State
with
saying,
a bunch of penalty and interest.
Yep.
Right?
More penalties and interest.
Right.
Than
and so if you want to nip it in the bud, do the amended return to New York State. I know a lot of people say, oh, maybe they won't catch me. Do you think New York State doesn't catch many of these things?
Not when the federal changes it. But, I just had a client come in, and they did get a letter from the IRS back in 2013 for 2011, and they just, we owe it, and they paid it. And now they got that letter from the state saying, well, wait a minute.
I know what you're going to say.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
You owe us. And she goes, but, after looking at it, my husband really rolled over some of that money. We didn't take it all. It's not all taxable. So I looked to see when they paid it. They actually paid it in December of 2013. So for technically, 2011 is still open because it's 2 years from the date of payment. So we were able to go back to the federal, amend the federal, get them back some of the money that they paid them.
Which would then change
save money on the state, because if it was too late to change the federal, they would have owed the state the full amount due.
Right, and that's the sad thing. That's why you want to timely deal with these things. You got statutes. It's 3 years from the due date of the return or 2 years from the liability was paid, whichever is later. That's the federal statute. And so if that statute had closed on the federal, if they had done it right away, sent the money in, and then the state mailed it to them 3 or 4 years later, and they found out that the federal was wrong, you can't open the federal and amend it, which would mean you owe it on the state.
Yep.
All right, so if you get a letter, have it double-checked to make sure it's correct. If it's incorrect, which usually it is, or at least partially incorrect, then you do an amended return, send in the adjustment so that the federal government knows. Send in the adjustment to New York State so that New York State knows. Then you're down to owing the money again. Now you can set up a payment program.
Right?
Yep.
That's right. It costs money to set up a payment plan. I think if you mail it in every month, it costs $100 to set up the payment plan. If you have the money that you pay on the payment plan come directly out of your checking account, the fee drops to $50, and that's added to the balance due, that fee that they charge.
To set it up.
Right.
So it's $100 if it's a check that you're going to write, $50 if it's an automatic debit, but that's a one-time charge.
That's right.
So you set up a payment program. If you're unable to pay, then you're back to you don't have any assets to sell, you can't borrow any money, Grandma and Grandpa won't help you, all right? Then you have to say, are you uncollectible? Mm-hmm. If you're uncollectible, then you have to wait in the long line at the IRS until they get to you, and then they would put you on a 10-year hold. Right?
Yep.
Well, at the end of 10 years,
and you verify that you're that you're uncollectible and you have no money to give them, and it'll be all gone.
But if that's not your situation, then you might do an offer and compromise, and you actually could file a bankruptcy. Isn't that correct, Chris?
After 3 years of the lien, you can do a bankruptcy on it. And I know I was talking to Ken Schultz, who's our person who does do the offer and compromises, about someone, they are uncollectible. But they could also do an offer. What would be the best thing? And he said, honestly, I would do the offer, because then you're done with it and you don't have to worry about them for 10 years. There's no questioning. You just get your return done if there is a return that has to be done, and you pay them on time, and there's nothing else you have to worry about.
But of course, when you're doing the offer, you have to stay straight for 5 years.
Yep.
And if you don't stay straight, then the liability
comes back with all the interest and the penalties, and you're right back where you started from.
All right, and then the third, so you could do the non-collectible offer and compromise or the bankruptcy, right?
Correct.
And don't you find that you guys are full time in the business, that many times that people do have there's people probably listening to us right now. They owe the money. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't want to deal with it. They know they don't have the money. It's like a deer in a headlight. Like they can't even move. They're catatonic. But that's part of what we do.
Right. We will take that rock right off your shoulder, and we'll help you get that to where it's bearable and you can get it all done behind you.
And people that are listening that have dealt with us, they know. For many of these things,
sort it out.
We don't even charge to do it. I mean, we just want to help. Yep. The only thing that we charge for is we're doing a tax return, amended return, or an offer and compromise. And even our offer and compromises are like
so much
800% less than the national firms.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I mean,
and
we can help you.
And the guy who does our offers and compromises, he's worked for us for like 25 years, and he used to work for the IRS, and he is top notch. I can't say more about Ken. He's just great at it.
I don't think he's worked for us for 25 years.
Well, I've worked there for 15,
but I've only worked there for 25 years, and I'm
right.
EG.
Yeah. Okay, so that's true.
And I knew he wasn't there at the beginning.
It's been a long time.
Right, but he is wonderful. All right, now, what if you get an audit letter? So you got the letters that are sending you the bill. What if you got audited? And we're talking about an office audit locally, IRS, New York State. And they send you the determination letter, and it says you owe X amount of dollars.
You can.
What are your rights?
Well, there's a time limit, and so you want to make sure you don't do the thing about waiting and waiting and waiting. But you can appeal the audit, before you even appeal the audit, you have a certain amount of time. Correct, Chris?
You first have to talk to the manager, then the manager doesn't agree with you, then you go to appeals. If you don't like what appeals says, then you can apply for tax court, and then...
But that sounds so... if I was driving my car right now, I'd be rolling my eyes back and saying,
oh my God.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing. We do this all the time.
Yep.
And what do we charge people to go to do the tax court, Chris?
Nothing.
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 Zero. Zip. Nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, there is a fee to file the forms, which the client has to pay. What is it?
$60 to go to tax
right.
court.
So we fill out the form, send it in, and then what will happen is the IRS lets the local IRS department know, and it goes to an informal conference, correct?
Right.
And I want to say I'm dealing with an appeal of an audit right now, and what they audited her for is for college credit for her and her son, and we sent in the proof, and it's just that they didn't get it. So sometimes don't think that this appeal process is only for bizarre.
And you really can't be intimidated.
Right.
You're dealing with a gigantic, huge conglomerate of agency, and sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, and you have to be persistent and persnickety, and you have to know your rights. And that's why we really wanted to talk about this today, so that you don't give up, because it's not like they have this big board at the IRS and they have your name, Esther Gulyas, and they put a star on your forehead because you paid something that you shouldn't have. I mean, the law says you're only supposed to pay what you actually are legally responsible for, and knowing where to turn is the important part. You just helped somebody out the other day with something like that.
I did.
Right?
I mean, he hired a lawyer and a tax accountant to go to the audit, and I said, so how was it when you went with them? He goes, they told me not to go. And I said, what? They go, yep, you don't need to go. And I said, who can explain you better than you?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, what do you mean? I said, can they answer the questions about your daily activity, what you do for your job, or do any? He goes, no. Can they answer how you use your card? No. I said, then why weren't you there? He goes, that's a good question. I should have been. So,
but we opened up.
We are petitioning to reopen the audit, and we're going back, and we're going to fight it and get him some of his money back.
Right.
Or reduce the balance.
So that is to give you hope if you're in that situation, or if you know somebody that's in that situation. Just have them give EG Tax a call. We're here to help you. Our phone number is 632-7886. Until next Saturday, I'm Esther Gulyas, the Tax Lady, with Tiffany Fabian and Christopher Fabian. Our website is egtax.com. And if you don't know, we want to help you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.